Alright, what's up guys? Rain Plays Games here, and today we're gonna do this video. This morning when I woke up, I almost felt inspired. I woke up, got my cup of coffee, let my dog out, and I was standing there looking out the window, and I was like, you know what, Rain? We're gonna make a video. Made a little tweet earlier. I'm not too happy with this Fortnite business. This is not meant to be a rant video. This is not gonna be a fuck you, all the cheaters, and blah 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 blah. It's not going to be, just a bunch of complaining. It's just going to be using Fortnite as an example of things that I've been seeing and feeling for a while now within the gaming industry. I'll explain all that a little bit later. It's going to be a little bit long of a video. It's got some history. It's got some new stuff. It's got some futuristic bullshit. And then, but sorry that I can't implement supply drops into my YouTube videos. I wish I could, but anyway, let's talk about some Fortnite. Fortnite, if you guys have been living under a rock, is a battle royale game, or it didn't start off that way, but it is now. Basically, the game was was announced in 2011, right? And it took a total of like 6 or 7 years to actually develop it to what it is now. But for the first 4 years, it went through delay after delay, and it finally came out, and no one cared. It didn't have any following anymore. It just kind of buried itself. There were no lobbies for up to 3 to 4 months after the game initially launched. People were saying all the time that they couldn't get into a game because, no one was playing it. Battle Royale came out right after PUBG did. I'm not sure we all know what PUBG is. Let me just put out there that I like PUBG. It's just not my favorite game. I have 100 or so hours in it. It's fun. I enjoy it. There's some good things about it. There's some bad things about it. I'm not giving it all the praise. It's not God's gift to gaming. But it's just what we're comparing this game to, as it has a whole lot of relevance with Fortnite. When PUBG came out, that game really took everybody by storm. Everyone was playing that and streaming it, and everyone got big out of nowhere, and it just had so many people playing. I think right now there's like close to 3.5, almost 4 million people playing it as of now across all platforms. And so needless to say, PUBG is huge. It's a very well-rounded game overall. It has some balancing issues and things in there. And now it has its own little beasts and demons it's got to work out, and its little wrinkles and all that. But in September of last year, 2017, when Fortnite launched, that was right in the midst of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds rise to glory, I guess you could say. They basically turned their game into a spitting image copy of PlayerUnknown's Battleground with just their own graphics engine, their own weapons, their own map, whatever. The whole 9 yards. It can't be in the same exact game, no shit. Otherwise, there'd be some copyrights and lawsuits and shit's going on. So the game itself is a direct copy of another game, which we've all seen that before and complained about it several times. I'm not sure why anyone's not really complaining about it here, but I digress. When Fortnite came out with a Battle Royale game, it took everyone by storm, and with that comes terrible server lag, a lot of balancing issues, things that weren't an issue before became present. I mean, I just want to say that when you saw your game get that first, the first million, nobody stood up and went, oh, server allocation. And I said before, there's a tiny little map with no vehicles. It basically simulates a fast-paced Battle Royale action shooter. Just the sheer size of the map makes it fast-paced. They didn't really do anything special to it to make it fast-paced other than cram a bunch of people in a small area and say, here, go at it. One downside about Fortnite that I'm going to make again, that I make about all my game videos, all the loot, all the stuff you want, is wrapped up in microtransactions. That's just the shittiest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. The games, they're trying to make you spend money on these microtransactions here, and I actually looked at it. I compared it to everyone's favorite, Call of Duty. Call of Duty, you spend $20 and you get 2,400 coins, or COD points or whatever. And with Fortnite, you spend $24.99 and you get 2,400 coins. No one's bitching about this. Why? You're spending more money on coins to get loot of lesser or equal value when it doesn't even matter. This game's going to be dead. Games have shelf lives these days. They're not going to last, especially with Call of Duty. Like, why would you spend money on that, especially when the new Call of Duty comes out next year? It doesn't make any sense why anyone would pay any money regardless of a loot promised to you. But why would you pay more and then not bitch about it? So basically, Fortnite Battle Royale saved the game. Riding off of PUBG's success rate, Battle Royale launches from the original Fortnite launcher. Also making it appear as if Fortnite itself is a marketable and highly played game concurrently, when it's not. The game itself was shit, and then it copied PUBG, and then it rose to glory. It launches from the same launcher to make it look like it's a good game. That sounds kind of shady. The game itself, to me, it feels like a freemium quality title with a price tag, and then a microtransaction loot system. It's a very cheaply done game, very cheaply made, very rip-off-ish of every other game you probably can imagine. You just look at a screenshot of this game, you've already played it. But hey, you know, it's all about the money. The money, money, money. The more they can convince you to buy those loot pinatas, little to no chance of getting the hero or gear that you want, and they're just trying to get you to gamble. Gambling your money away for things that don't matter and you won't get. But hey, you know, at least they made the opening process of the pinatas, and, you know, they look good and exciting and suck you into the money-trapping scheme. Now, I'm not going to stand up for these other dev companies' policies or actions, but what makes it okay for Epic Games to include a cash-grabbing microtransaction scheme, but it's not okay for other games to do it, and we bitch about those other games all the fucking time. We all hate it. We all say this and all say that, and it's just, I don't know. What makes it okay for Epic Games to put out half-baked goods? Games that aren't finished. Games that aren't complete. Games that are unbalanced. And games that need fixed. Games that have severe issues. Like, why are you condoning the actions from Epic Games out of one side of your mouth, but then chastising and demoralizing other companies out of the other side of the mouth? They're doing the same exact thing. Like, everyone here now watching this video is capable of critical thought. Although some may not exercise that part of their brain, at some point these questions will be begging for answers. But basically, in a nutshell, all I'm trying to say is these companies will keep putting out the same implementations of these games, so microtransactions and unpolished game mechanics, poorly optimized everything, just mediocre all-around titles. And it's been a trend now for a while. I've been noticing it, trying to, you know, see what other people think and feel, but everyone just seems to hop on the hype train and just kind of play whatever the new hotness is. You know, every 2-3 months there's a new game coming out and everyone's on it, and then it switches to another one, and then everyone's on that, and switches again, and everyone's on that. It seems like no one's really applying any type of critical thought here. And now it's time for a history lesson. Here's the epic backstory stuff. In the early 80s, an event happened that shook the gaming industry to a crumbling halt. What is referred to as the video game crash of 1983 was a direct result of overinflation of video game titles to the market and poor decision making by newly founded third-party developers, mainly Activision. No, I'm not making this. This is real. This is actually just when Activision started out. And the license holders of the huge arcade hits. All those licenses mainly went to Atari. It's 1982. Time and budget restraints, the limited hardware of Atari's flagship console, the 2600. The games were just disappointing. Crude graphics, dissonant audio, flickering effects. The expectation of in-your-home arcade action now, and it just fell 10 miles short. It's Christmas in 1982. You're by your tree. You get a new video game for your Atari. It's called Raiders of the Lost Ark. You put it in, you boot it up, and it's literally just a copy of Pitfall. Raiders of the Lost Ark was widely unaccepted because of this fact. It was a copy of Pitfall. And then E.T. E.T., the extraterrestrial, came out. E.T. is almost accepted worldwide as the sole reason for the crash, dubbed as the world's worst game of all time. It was only meant to be a second-rate cash grab to begin with. The overinflation of games and in the market, companies were just putting out games just so people would buy them. People stopped buying, and the haunting realism occurred. Systems stopped being sold. Game cartridges were being returned to the stores. Revenue had dropped 50%. Atari takes a huge hit, and consequently, hundreds of people lost their jobs, as $500 million was lost that year. So after the dust had settled, companies started to emerge. Commodore 64 from the US, and Nintendo and Sega from Japan. It's 1985, Nintendo NES arrived in the USA, and it completely raised the bar for the next generation of gaming, as quality of games and the machines they ran on went up. In case you got bored and skipped through ahead a little bit, gaming almost died because of greed and apathy. People stopped paying because of poor quality, copy and paste games resulting in a bad experience. People knew what their dollar was worth, and they got tired of paying for crap. The question is, when are you going to get tired? At what point do we as consumers stand up and say, hey, we don't stand for the same rehashed mistakes? When will we get tired of being taken advantage of as consumers? At what point will we raise the bar of standard when it comes to the games that we play? At what point are we just going to stop enjoying them altogether? Now, I'm making this video, I'm not trying to say Fortnite is killing gaming, or PUBG is killing gaming, or Call of Duty, or whatever. I'm just noticing a trend in gaming market, and as history repeats itself time and time again, it's not looking good for the gaming market. as a consumer, we should be provided with premium experiences of the next generation. It feels to me like we've been getting games that should be played on PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3, just with a little bit better graphics, but overall the same mechanics, the same game. It's basically the same game, just over and over and over again. Have we really run out of ideas for games? Have we really stopped putting effort into making our games better? I sure hope not. And even if it did, it just means better things are coming in the future. I've been Rain, guys. Thanks for listening to me almost have a rant video. Not quite a rant, but thanks for listening, and I really hope you guys got something out of it. Hope you guys take something home and reevaluate some things as far as your game library goes, and try and support developers that are really doing something good. Alright, here's our history lesson.